All right, and here we are. Oh, Jim is on the ball. First to say hello. How's it going, Carl?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, are you ready?
I'm ready. I
Everything
mean,
packed up and ready to go?
no.
Good. Well, I think you're going to have a great weekend by the looks of it, anyways, unless things drastically change.
I hope so. Yeah, it should be. Buffalo's usually a pretty good time. We get a good crowd. We've got a good camping spot. Um, the fish are usually pretty cooperative. The weather's usually pretty cooperative. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, I'll just look again. Last I looked, it looked like at least around here it was supposed to be pretty beautiful this weekend. Let's just look up what they say for Bashaw for this weekend. You have got 19 degrees on Saturday, so
I'll take it. As long as the wind's not too crazy, that'll be ideal.
let's just see what they're saying for wind on Saturday. 16 gusting to 24, so not overly bad, not the greatest, but
Yeah.
we've fished in worse.
Yep. Just ride the washing machine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Camping. I
Yeah.
know there were some people that were asking about camping.
Yep. I'm never so popular as the week before an event when people are trying to figure out camping. So, for anybody that hasn't joined us at this event before, we are launching out of and staying at Pelican Point Campground. It's the launch is there, and it's like in its name, it's a campground. So, we typically get the overflow camping site. So I don't. Do you have the website up? Do you remember the? It's pretty easy to find. If you guys are trying to Google it yourself, just type like Pelican Point Campground. You'll see it should be the first one that Google returns. It's usually, and I'll say Bashaw, I think. And then if you go to their site, it has quite a bit of information in there actually. So the guy who runs that site, his name is Barry, and we right as you come in, kind of on the right hand side, you should see the overflow, and then there's kind of a little parking area, and then a boat parking area, and then Pelican
All
Point
right.
Campground. Yeah, there you go. And then
I'll just hide your camera for a
there,
sec
yep,
there. So Pelican Point,
yep.
if you, oh, I guess I got to click on the right screen. If we just click here, so as you're coming in on 53, it's Range Road 204. There's big signs right up here
Yep.
that tell you where you're going, and then you come down. Let's throw satellite on. You come right down to the main drive here, Pelican Point Drive.
Yep. There's
Come down past all the
yeah,
houses.
there's lots of signs, and Siri knows the way. So yeah, if you tell Siri how to get there or ask Siri to guide you there, she'll take you right there.
So this is the overflow camp right here.
Yep.
And then just you come down to the end of the road. And right in here, you can come in, unload your kayaks, launch from there, and then bring your trucks back up and park them up in here.
Yep. Yep.
And if that's full, then there's overflow parking over here.
Yeah, or you can just park it right back at the overflow where we typically stay. So Barry's the guy that runs it. Like I said, he's a really good dude, and he charges us usually $25 a night per site for when we're camping there. So if a couple of you guys go in together and get a big tent, and then you're only paying $25 if you're just using one site. So it's not really laid out, like there's no spots or anything. It's just we kind of tend to set up however we like. So if you're bringing the family, whatever, and you're using one site for your camper, that would just be $25 per night. So yeah. And if you do decide that you need water or power, then they have other spots, and I can't remember how much they are. But if you on the website there that Mike clicked on this guy from, it has the rates. I remember they had 30 watt power and 50 amp power. 50 amp and 30 amp sites. And I cannot remember how much they were. I had it in my head earlier today when I was looking at it, but now I totally forgot. So yeah.
Well, let's look and see if we can get her figured
Yeah,
out.
if you don't, I don't think you have to go through book a site, but if you just kind of go on the like into their website there, they have rates. Like they did have the rates.
Yeah, there you go. So you're for the 2050 amp
Yep.
service site is 47 a
Yep.
night. Your 1530 is 40. Unserviced is 25.
And that's what we're doing. We're in the unserviced stuff, so we're just in the overflow, and then we can be off to ourselves, and we can socialize, and we can set up how we want, and we can, we can do whatever.
Yeah.
That being said, we're right on the main drag, and we're just across the way from a few private residences and stuff. So we don't want to be obnoxious with our noise and our our whooping it up. But within
you want to
reason.
be polite, and as with every other event, we are guests at these locations, so we just ask that everybody is very polite and looks out for that fact that there is families out there and people that live out there. So
yep. And yeah, if you are bringing pets or kids, we're just on the other side of the main drag, like the road. So keep a close eye, that kind of stuff. It's not like being on the Whitefoot or the number 2. It's not fast traffic, but there is traffic going right by us. Not at night either. Like it kind of shuts down, at sunset or so. So it's not super busy, but yeah, we are in someone else's community. So we don't want to be, too obnoxious. So yeah, our target species this time is pike. So we're going for pike. And you know what? So barbless, obviously, just like all our other events. Like our code of conduct. We want to follow our code of conduct, right? So barbless, respect for the fish, try and handle them as little as possible. If you got a deep basket net, it's easier to keep them in a deep basket net. And if you switch out your hooks from trebles to single hooks, it makes dealing with a nasty pike a lot easier in the net. There's a lot less untangling to do and stuff. And then, and the quicker you are with them, usually the quicker you can be done with them. Sometimes they don't get in tune to the fact that they're caught and on a board before they go ballistic. So typically earlier in the day too, when it's a little cold, they'll be a little more calm. But if you're quick and get them on the board and your photos done, it's a little easier. So minimum length. What's our minimum? I forgot to double check the rules for our minimum length.
So you're the 3 pike over 63 burbot if you can catch a burbot, and if you can find walleye over 50 centimeter in there, hammer them. But they're the walleye are very few and far between. They're an incidental. So
yeah, I think we've been doing this tournament 5 years at this spot. I don't recall anybody catching anything other than pike. So I mean, there's something in there that the pike are eating, I assume, other than pike, but I don't know.
There is walleye. I remember the first year we had it out there, somebody did catch a walleye as an incidental catch.
Okay.
But I think I've only ever seen just the one caught. So
nice. So yeah, speaking of walleye, we got to keep our depth to 24 meters. We can't fish deeper than that.
24
so
feet.
How is 24 feet? Yes, sorry, 24 feet. Yeah, big difference. 24 feet. So you guys, if you guys aren't aware, the way that that Fish and Game are gonna find out if we're fishing deeper than 24 feet is they're gonna see where you are and see how deep the water is. So they don't care if you only have 23 feet of line out. If you're in 28 feet of water, you're fishing too deep and you could get in a lot of trouble. So I don't have the thing mapped out to know where exactly 24 feet of water. I don't think you have to go out pretty far to get 24 feet there.
Yeah.
Usually we pick them up around the island, kind of right in front of the boat launch. There's a bit of jungle, like some weeds and stuff. That's usually good in the morning. They seem to be waking up and getting the sunshine on them to charge up in the morning, and then they seem to go out in the beach in front of the houses and around the island. And I think usually they're caught at like 12, 15 feet of water kind of thing. So yeah, you don't really need to go out that 24 feet of water.
No, not at all. PFDs are a must. So for anybody new that's out there, you have to have a PFD, and it must be on and properly done up. You cannot just have it sitting in your kayak or just kind of wear it. If it's got, buckles, the buckles need to be done up. If it's a zipper, the zipper needs to be done up. It has to be properly worn.
Yep, that's right. Yep. Yeah, and handling the fish. Speaking of wearing stuff, yeah, I don't think I have anything else that hopefully the weather is good. Like, we haven't had a lot of fires and stuff, so the smoke shouldn't be an issue. We should have lots of good visibility. But we are launching out of the kind of the boat launch for that area, so there could be some boaters coming and going past us, so just be aware. If you have a flag, I would say use your flag. If you have a light, use your light. But yeah, and then to get back to fish handling, I know, because this one I think dinged somebody before, is keep your fingers out of the gills. So be careful where you have your hands in their photos, and hands in the gills is a big no-no. And there was a trick or something with that. And then I noticed lately we've got a couple guys with the folding bump boards. You guys want to try and keep those flat, or and last year we had somebody that they didn't submit their fish in time. They almost missed it, and we made an exception for them. Yeah, we're kind of tightening up the rules this year, you guys. So if you haven't, make sure you submit your fish. We're getting off the water at 5 o'clock. By 5:30, you need to have your fish submitted. So if you have to go for a drive up the highway to get some service or whatever, or just walk around the campground with your phone to submit those pictures, make sure you do that. Because if 5:30 rolls around and we start the awards, I'm not going to recalculate who has how many points because you forgot to submit your fish. It would suck if you got a really good fish and you didn't submit it. And how do you submit it, you ask? That's the Fishing Chaos app. So make sure you got the app. And pre-fishing until 8 o'clock the Friday before, just like all our other events. And then we'll release the angler code after 8 o'clock on the app. And so we may even need to make sure we got service the night before, just so we can get the angler code. And I'll try and remember to bring a Sharpie so we can write that on our cards. Hopefully somebody's going to bring cards and all that other good stuff. As Gord's usually our messenger. Does he bring in that stuff this week, or?
I see Jim's on. Jim, you're going to this, I believe. Let me look and see. I believe Jim is coming. Maybe not. I don't know. I will make sure that we get a stack of cards if there isn't already some to head that way.
Cool. Yeah. So we can do the cards, and then I usually bring some Velcro tape and Sharpie and some maybe even a label printer if I remember. I think it's already in my van, and we can put the stuff. We can put that stuff right on the night before, and then we're ready to fish in the morning. So.
And with that, I just wanted to touch on with your folding bump boards. Broden put up a video, and I really encourage everybody who has folding bump boards, go get a small piece of PVC, cut a slot in it, and slide it in on the side. That will hold it from going, because we will be looking at them. Any bump board that you can see that's one end of it's angled up, you will be getting deductions in fish because of that. So, if you've got a folding one, we strongly encourage you to put a piece of PVC or bolt it to a board or something for when you're fishing for pike, when that thing needs to be opened up, because if it is bent and flopping around, you will get deducted points. And Cody, great question from Cody. Submit multiple pike, or you can only submit 3. Yep. Keep submitting your pike. The app will automatically cull your fish for you and keep only your top 3.
Yep, that's right. So yeah, you don't have to worry, Cody. Just keep fishing, submit your picks, and then if you're having trouble on the water and you can't the app, you don't have service for the app to submit the fish, just take your pictures and just try and figure out a way to figure out which picks or which of your fish, and then you can submit the best ones at the end. That's one way of calling them out yourself. Um, on my bump boards, I have a piece of paper with numbers on it, so I rotate that so I can tell which fish is which, so I don't go and submit the same fish twice by accident. The other thing I've done is if I don't have that guy handy, or I'm just using a smaller bump board, I'll take several pictures of my fish, and then the last picture of that fish, I'll put my number of fingers up in the picture of the fish, and then so I'll take a picture with my that was fish number one, and then that's the last picture of that fish, and then fish number two, that's the last picture of that fish, etc. Until I got 5, and then hopefully number 6 doesn't look exactly like the next one or whatever. Or you can make some kind of gang signs with your hands. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't accidentally flip anybody off on here while I'm trying to demonstrate the number 6 with one hand.
Another thing that I usually do if I'm just doing that, once I take my pictures of the fish, I'll take a picture of my sonar screen, and then it'll give me my time.
Yep,
so then I'm able to see that was that fish. So take a picture of your watch, or something like that you can tell the time when it's done.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that works.
Just trying.
Jim says we'll be there right on.
With your kayaks, please, everybody, make sure that you have what's required by the Transport Canada. So you need to have all of those items: the line, the whistle, the light of some sort. So one of those little Scotty or Fox 40 or whatever those little emergency kits are, you need to have that by law to be on your boat. No drinking out on the water. We know that some things are now legal, but please do not be doing that on the water either. It's not allowed on the water. We don't allow it in our events. If you want to stop and have a beer, go to shore, leave your kayak there, walk up to camp, grab yourself a beer, make sure that your photos are uploaded that you want, and then come back out and hit the water. Dead fish.
Yep, dead fish. So if your fish dies, obviously you can't count that fish. This is a catch, photo, release tournament. If the fish fails to release alive, that we can't count that fish towards the tournament. So we have to retain the fish, and we have to turn it into Fish and Game. So I will pack a foam cooler. I'll leave it. You can't miss it. I got in big bright letters, dead fish right on it. So I usually try and leave it somewhere. I think last year I left it at the boat launch. I had a table set up with some cards and some other stuff in a crate, and I think I had that cooler hanging out there as well. So so if you're coming to shore to take a break or whatever, and then you'll see that table there, and then I'll try and throw some ice in it, and then we'll hang on to the fish, and we'll submit it to Fish and Game. But don't put a weight in its mouth and sink it to the bottom. Don't, I'm pretty sure we actually had, I think we had somebody at the trout derby, the trout on the fly, that had a fish that didn't recover. Did we not?
No, they all recovered.
Okay. And
with that too, if you do have a fish that dies, you need to reel your lines in and bring it in right away, and then you can go back fishing. You can't just leave it in your kayak and keep fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Lines up, no more fishing until that fish is in that cooler.
Yeah.
And that goes for any of our events.
Yeah. And that won't take more than a few minutes. If we're at the boat launch, by the way, everybody is launching from the same point. We're not launching from 5 places out throughout the lake, because we can't see your boat. We can't tell that you don't, this is a no motor event. So if you're launching from Rashawn Sands, I don't know that you don't have a motor on your boat. So we're all going to launch from one place. So if you have to drive around the lake, so be it. I mean, I'm making a really long drive to be there on Friday. So it's, but I'm going to stay at the campground. So, it's in the scheme of things, it lets us be sure that everybody's playing by the same rules, and it means for everybody that we're all on the level. So we're gonna launch from the same place, not from multiple places around the lake. And if you're just around the island, other side of the island, or the far end of the beach, it's a quick paddle back to bring the fish back to get it in the cooler. So
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're struggling out there trying to get your fish, put it in the net, put it in the water, and ask one of the other anglers out there to help. Somebody will come help you with getting it on the board. The picture on the bump board needs to be taken in your kayak, but other people can hold the fish down for you. So if you get something that's big and you're really worried about it, leave it in your net in the water with the hook in its mouth. Ask somebody to come over and give you a hand. They can come over. I'm going to say this right now. The head end of your bump board needs to be on the left side of your kayak. It needs to be perpendicular to you, belly to belly picture. Put your net underneath that side. So if it jumps off a little bit, hopefully your net will grab it before it goes in the water. But they can absolutely come over and hold that fish down on the bump board for you. We've got anglers, Broden and Curtis have become masters at holding the fish down with one hand near the head, their toes holding down near the tail and snapping a picture. Nose needs to be right up against. It's not a fork length, so get your hand, if it's not flopping around, quickly pinch that tail before you snap the picture. You might be able to get an extra 1/4 inch, but don't try and squeeze that 1/4 inch out for that length if it's going to hurt the fish. Get that picture, put the fish in the water. And we've said this so many times, and we'll say it again. When you snap your pictures, put your fish in the net, in the water to let it recover there first, and then check your photo. Make sure that your photo is clear. Your tag needs to be in the photo with the code on it. If you lose your card, go back in, grab another card, put the code on it. If you've got a Sharpie, you can quickly write that number on your hand, that if you lose your card on your way back in and you hook into a fish, you can at least take that picture of it. But make sure that card is visible in the photo. We've had numerous derbies where there have been some really great fish caught, but unfortunately we've had to deny the fish because of the simple fact that without that ID card with the code and your name needs to be on it. Without that in the photo, we can't accept that picture. And the reason why the belly to belly, it always needs to be belly to belly, because that way we can see the markings on the fish and we know if two fish look the same. You can grab a fish, flip it over, the markings look completely different on the other side. So it always needs to be head to the left, belly to belly, perpendicular to your kayak.
Yep, that's right. And those folding bump boards, if you got to use a folding bump board, that little trick for kind of locking it open, or if you're really attached to that folding bump board, maybe you just got to understand that you're going to take that 1/4 or 1/2 inch or whatever it is penalty. So I think it was a 1/2 inch, or is it just kind of playing it by ear?
I've got to look and see what's in the rules here. Hold on.
Yeah, you guys, I would really encourage everyone to read the rules carefully for each event. The rules are right on the Fishing Chaos app. If you're not sure where they are, some events have slightly different rules. So some of them call for the fish's mouth to be fully closed when it's up against that fence. So especially like in our bass one, and I believe in the Northern Boreal tournament, it calls for the fish's mouth to be closed, or you'll have a penalty of some of the length of the fish. So, I'm getting invaded. You got to make sure that you read through the rules and to avoid any penalties, because it would be a terrible thing if you could take the whole thing, if you could win, but you lost or you took second place because of a bunch of deductions. So,
yeah. So I'll just hide Carl's camera here too. We'll show this in stream. So, anything observed in the fish's gills, hands, tags, etc. is denied. If it's blurry, we'll allow it, but we will only take the length of the fish at the clearest number. So if we can only see 4 inches clear and after that it's blurry and it's a 36-inch pike, it's not going to count. So you've got to make sure multiple images of the same fish that you just accidentally did. It shouldn't do it, but it will be noticed. they'll all get denied. If it's intentional and it's proven that you're doing it, you get disqualified from the trail for 2 years. Your photo needs to be taken on the water with your kayak in the water. It can't be, you can't have beached your kayak. We need to be able to see it. So no evidence of the angler's watercraft in background or watercraft on shore gets denied. We are doing inches, even though because it says the 63 centimeters, submit your fish in inches. That's what we use in the app. Fisheries just does it in centimeters. Hand obscuring where the fish touches the start of the bump board, you'll lose 2 inches. Make sure your XF data is turned on so we can see your location as well as time, all that kind of stuff. Anybody that has an expandable bump board, expand it fully out. So like those Fabril ones or Plano, Flambeau, whatever they were, there's little slots in the side. When you open it and it fully clicks in, those little holes in the side when it's fully expanded, if you draw those in black, it's really easy to see then. And any picture that's taken with the expandable bump boards are really scrutinized to make sure that they're clear. What else? So where are we here? Yeah, angler continues to fish after fish dies without notifying the organizer or removing the lines from the water. You're disqualified from the event. So we got to watch for that. And yeah, so like I said, any of those images where we can't see the identifier, so it's just kind of out of the photo, you'll get a warning. The second one, you lose 2 inches. The third one, all fish are denied. Measurements are submitted incorrect on the 1/4 inch. We always round down. So if it's almost at a 1/2 inch mark, but it's clearly not touching the 1/2 inch, take it at the 1/4 instead. So that's kind of the big ones. But yeah, for any of those folding bump boards, please make sure get a piece of plastic eaves trough or get a board that you can lay across your kayak for those bigger fish that are underneath it, or like Broden had for us on that video that he posted, that little piece of PVC pipe snaps right on. It works absolutely perfect. It keeps it nice and rigid. So with that, I also want to say thank you to our sponsors. We've got amazing sponsors for the trail this year. Somebody is walking away with a Lew's rod reel line and a couple of baits. I see Gord Bus commenting G-Bus Outdoors has donated lures, so that'll be great for somebody out there. You know, it's absolutely great. We've got a bunch of stuff at all of our derbies for our anglers to win, and hopefully somebody's going to walk away with a good chunk of change too. The more anglers you can get to come out and fish it with you, the more chance you got to take their money.
Yep. So you guys, if you guys have questions about why Mike and I are talking about 63 centimeters and then why we're also talking about 24 3/4 inches. So the app Fishing Chaos is done by an American company. So they put their scale for measurement is in inches. So the small, like the finest increments is 1/4 inch. So fisheries, because we're in Canada, so they say that a pike is a minimum size for retained, which is what we're doing by taking it out of the water and taking its picture, is 63 centimeters. So 63 centimeters is 24.8 inches. So a 24.75 inch or a 24 3/4 inch fish is not big enough to count. So if you catch a 24 3/4 inch fish or on the board, it's actually too small. If your measurements are only in inches, round it up to 25. So if you try and score a 24.75 inch pike, it won't count. The app won't even take it. It'll just it'll deny it, or it won't take anything. So
great comment, and thanks, Gord, for that. That's absolutely a great idea.
Yeah.
If you've got a folding bump board, like I mentioned earlier, put your net there, lay it across your net, and that now gives it a backbone. That's absolutely great advice for everybody, Gord. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and then hopefully 50-50 chance if the fish flops, hopefully it goes the right way and goes back into the net.
Yeah. And we've all had that multiple times.
Yeah.
If there is bad weather, everybody just kind of pay attention. If the weather gets really bad for some reason or other and Carl needs to call it, it'll get pushed out through the app as well. Or Carl will kind of be letting everybody know. So if you plan on taking off way away from kind of the island where most of the people are, try and let somebody know, hey, I'm heading down this end of the lake, something like that, just so that we know. Also, for anybody that's coming out, if you're fishing and you don't, some reason or other, you don't catch a fish, don't just say, okay, I'm done and I'm leaving. Make sure that you check in with Carl and let him know that you're leaving early. We've had that in the past where anglers haven't had any luck, so they've taken off from the lake. I spent an hour and a half scrambling, driving around, and this was out at Glenifer, driving to every launch, looking for a truck that might hold a kayak, trying to get hold of the guy on email, everything, only to find out that finally he responded back at like 6 o'clock at night, or 6:30 at night, saying that, no, I wasn't catching anything, so I just left.
Yeah, that's another reason.
That's why we have that check-in, check-out. If you're going to
Yeah.
leave, make sure somebody knows that you're leaving the water body.
That's another reason why we have this only the single launch point, because then if someone's disappeared or we can't get hold of them or whatever, we don't have to go check in every launch point on the lake. We don't have to scramble the helicopters. We know, okay, their vehicle is not here, or somebody saw them leave from the launch or something. So yeah, it can relate to being a safety concern. I wouldn't say it is 100% a safety concern that we all launch from the same point, but yeah, it helps with us.
It helps mitigate that. Yeah. So if you are going to leave and you can't get hold of Carl or whatever, if there's somebody there, let them know. And for anybody that's going to be there, if somebody tells you, hey, I'm leaving, the minute you see Carl, please let him know that that person's gone, so that he's not stressing out trying to find somebody that's no longer on the water body.
Yeah, that's right. Another reason why we're wearing our PFDs and got our flags and stuff. So yeah,
absolutely. I'm just kind of looking through bump boards. If you don't have one and you're fishing with somebody else, you guys are going to kind of hang out together. You guys can share bump boards. It just needs to, the picture needs to be in your kayak. You need to do it on your own apps as well.
I'll try and bring some extra boards. I just took a break from farting around in the garage where I'm building a couple more bump boards. Last year I had a couple fish that went a little longer than the short bump board that I'd made. I kind of made a folding bump board. And I wanted something a bit longer. So I'm going to be using a 36-inch bump board. Now I know that's pretty optimistic for my fishing anyways. I don't seem to catch anything really that big, but I lost some points on some fish last year because the tail moved off the board and I couldn't see, you couldn't tell exactly the length of the fish. So I kind of tightened up the width of my board, the flat area a little bit. And I made it longer so it'll support the fish for longer. So I can support a longer fish without worrying about the tail sliding off the board. I found it was really hard to take a picture with one hand and hold a 30 or a 30-inch pike onto that board when my board, the wide part of my board, was only 20 something inches. So yeah, I'm going to I'm addressing that, but I'll bring some other ones as well. So I will have some extra bump boards for people to borrow if they want. And then yeah.
With that too, I also wanted to say, so on Buffalo, it's called the Narrows down on the far west end of the lake. There is no fishing in the Narrows. We are not allowed to fish in there as per fisheries. So everybody, please make sure that you're not in that area. Carl's already mentioned there's no motors. There's no, you can't find somebody with a motorboat and get them to tow you down to the other end of the lake. This is all, everything's got to be done by you. No interacting with people in boats. You can't have people come out and hang out with you in a motorboat. You need to be fishing in your kayak and kind of staying away from them.
Yeah.
Single rod, barbless hook. Everybody needs to have their fishing license. Everybody needs to have a code of conduct. So for anybody that's coming, if you don't have a code of conduct signed, go to wckft.wordpress.com, 2024 events. You will see the code of conduct. You can click that, download it. All we need is the last couple, or the last pages, the last 3 pages. We need like the second and third from last, something like that. Just the 2 pages that you need to sign. So those need to be signed before you can fish the derbies. I think that's pretty much covering it all. If anybody's got any questions, there's lots of experienced anglers out there. Please grab them. Just say, hey, I've got a question. I'm having troubles. It is a competitive derby. We're going for money, but everybody's out there to have fun and promote this sport. You've got guys like Carl and Jim out there that have been with us right from the start of the events here in Western Canada. Nick, does it need to be signed for every derby? No, we just need a code of conduct once signed for you, just so that we have that, because that's also your liability waivers on there. So that's why we need to have that for our insurance purposes. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else. PFD we've talked about. If you see somebody struggling in their kayak, please bring your lines in. Give them a hand. It's a big thing. Wind comes up, especially for the guys that are out there paddling. We've done it lots. I always take one of my straps that I use to strap down my kayak, and I leave it in my kayak when I go out on the water, that if somebody's struggling, the wind picks up, I can hand them the strap. I can tell them to tie it onto the back of my boat. We'll put it on the front of their boat, and I'll help tow them to shore. Please help each other out. When the weather gets bad, it can be bad, especially for the folks that are paddling. With that, make sure that you're bringing, we're looking at good weather, but who knows, things could turn. Please make sure that you dress for the weather. Bring water with you when you're out on the water, so that you can have it. Make sure your fish are revived before they swim away. And the biggest thing that we must really stress about this is have fun. That's what this is all about. This is it's the Western Canada Kayak Fishing Trail. And for anybody that's fished any of our events, I'm pretty sure you could look at it and say, this is the Western Canada Kayak Fishing family. We are all so happy to fish together and have fun together and help each other out. There's been so many of our events where anglers who are doing really well are literally taking their hooks off and handing them to other anglers, hoping to help them out. So
yeah, they're usually pretty good. Like we've got a really good crew, and everybody,
Sergey, we got it.
Yeah, everybody's pretty friendly. Everybody likes to have a good time. Yeah, and then we love being out there and helping each other. It's really a stark comparison between the kayak trail, like our kayak groups, and I hear the same thing about other ones as well. And like the boat guys, like boat competitions, where they're really kind of cutthroat and not friendly towards each other, and we really seem to just be sharing our passion and with each other and enjoying our time on the water together. So yeah, it's I think it's gonna be another good one. I'm just hoping I never seem to catch a limit on any of these tournaments. I think this year I'm off to a good start though. I scratched on the trout, and I did get a limit for the sucker derby. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get a limit at Buffalo. We'll see.
Yeah, it's crazy. Some of those. Dan, yes, e-transfer to the trail email. The $50 goes there. Yeah, the sucker derby, for anybody that wasn't at our opening events, we broke a record at the trout derby with the most anglers we've ever had for a freshwater derby in Western Canada. And then the sucker derby the next day, we broke a record for the most people that we've had in the Western Canada Kayak Fishing Trail at a cash prize event. So it was pretty spectacular. It was $740 for first place. So it was crazy.
Yeah, I think it's lots of prizes and stuff. Yeah. Speaking of prizes, G-Bus Outdoors hooking us up with some stuff. So hopefully he'll come. I feel like it's Gord Bus, so he's supported us a lot, and I don't know if I can put a face to the name though, because I know the name lots, but I know a Gord that comes to all our events, but I don't think that's Gord Bus.
No, that's Gord Martin you're thinking of. Right. Hold on, yeah. I will.
We don't have to call him out and put his photo up or anything, but yeah.
I'm going to find his photo. I'm going to put it up here for everybody because G-Bus Outdoors has donated so many lures to the trail this year that it is unreal. Every single one of our in-person derbies, he has donated, and it is not at all.
Like I said, you guys,
I can't even put it into words. It's just amazing. Yeah. Here we go. There's Gord.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I fish with Gord or not.
Well, usually you can tell Gord because usually by around August, he's got a really good sunglass tan. Last year at the East Slope, he was sitting up at a table by the stage there handing out the lures to the kids, and he had a wicked sunglass tan.
Right.
So.
Well,
so thanks again, Gord, for that. We're truly appreciative of what he's done for us. If anybody's looking to buy some really great quality baits, go on, check out G-Bus Outdoors on Facebook. He has got some amazing stuff. You'll see it at the Derby. His skills are way better than mine are with painting. I'm pretty sure I would just prime it and paint it one color and call it good.
Yeah.
There you go. It's the fisherman's tan. Carl, do you want to show your little thing that you made up there?
Sure. Yeah, I was doing. Speaking of airbrushing, so oh my god, that chair's making some horrible noise. So I was working on a couple things, trying to do something for for our events as part of one of our prizes. So Gord, I want to say thanks to Gord. I've got a prize pack. It's in the garage that it'll be coming out with me on Saturday, and it's a 10 lures. So they all look like pretty productive pike lures. So somebody is going to take home 10 of his lures. And then speaking of, for the prize table, so I did another one of these guys for the thing. So it says Battle on Buffalo 2024. And that is a lure wrap. So it kind of folds over with some Velcro. And then got another airbrushed another lure that can go on the prize table. So that's turned out a little more blue than I thought. I'm kind of sitting in the dark here. Let me see if I can get some lines.
It looks pretty green to us.
Yeah, so the green, I was thinking it would turn out a bit more tan kind of color, but the green is kind of bluey. I don't know if you can kind of see that. So yeah, that'll be one of the prizes as well. So hopefully it's unfortunate that they're not going to get it until after the tournament, because I feel like it's going to probably be okay to catch some pike. So I did make myself a couple also that I'm going to try out, but that may be more down. If it doesn't work out, it might be more down to the fisherman than the lure. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Julie. It's very nice. I didn't get a chance to talk to Ryan. Ryan won the one at the Trout Derby for the. I didn't get a chance to see. He was going to Carolside, so for that one, we figured out. Carl made up one of those at the Trout Derby, and so we figured, well, we'll do it the easy way. So everybody there that was going to the Carolside Derby, we made them come up and do rock, paper, scissors, and odd man out. So Ryan Hackinson won that. So I didn't ask him if he had caught a fish on it. I'll have to reach out to him.
Yeah, I'm curious to know too, because I haven't had a chance to fish them yet myself. So So yeah, that one I kind of did this this really brightly colored trout pattern on the last one, and then this one is a little more pike colored. So it's definitely pike colored. So yeah, I was airbrushing in the garage until late on Monday, but I'm pretty happy with how he turned out. So yeah, hopefully it'll work. And like I said, the ones I plan to fish, they've got single hooks, and I've already crushed the barb, so I don't have to fart around doing that on the water if I'm changing my lures. So
yeah. And yeah, with that, that's the thing. I mean, we're barbless hooks. That doesn't mean every hook that you've got in your tackle box has to be barbless. Just when you're going to go put it on. There you go. There's a little bit from Gord. When you put that hook on, that's when you need to pinch the barbs. It can be in your tackle box and still be barbed. We're not telling you have to pinch every single barb of every hook in your tackle box. Just the minute you put it on your line, make sure it is. Yeah, there was something else I was going to say, but I cannot remember now. So it obviously wasn't too important. Everybody have fun. Everybody enjoy your time. Help each other out. I can't wait to see the pictures. This is the first year in a while that Ben and I won't be making the journey out there. We've got a busy weekend around home. So you guys all have fun. Carl puts on amazing derbies. I love going to the derbies he hosts. After this one, you guys have got a week off. And then you got some driving to do. So if you haven't already, if you're planning on going, we've got a BC Bass Derby down on Vaso Lake. As well, that same weekend, Wellman Lake in Manitoba, we've got the Manitoba Bass Derby. You guys in BC, you need to step up your game this year. Last year, Manitoba won the championship. So let's see. Let's not let them be repeats. Let's see BC take it this year. And that weekend starts the kind of the big trail up in Manitoba and Saskatchewan. So there's the Wellman Derby. Then you've got Ruby's Gator Classic. The next day, you've got Madness on Mosier. The weekend after, you have a 2-day derby out on Lake Diefenbaker. Oh, Derek, yeah. Carl, he's calling you out right now, bud. Here, I'll even post.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that in the chat. Yeah, I gotta reach out and see if I can find some BC ringers so I can stack our team a little bit this year. But
yeah, well, hey, just I mean, it's Vaso Lake. You can pretty much walk into that lake and just have an inner tube that you sit on and fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so well, Sheldon, that's your birthday present. Your wife's going to allow you to go.
Get your wife to take you fishing for your birthday.
Yeah, there you go. But with that, yeah, the trail has grown. Derek Workman, I wanted to kind of mention this as well. Derek has stepped up. Another guy from out east, he stepped up and joined our group of directors to help out there. So thank you, Derek, for that. It's great to see another director out in the eastern provinces versus just Alberta guys. So thanks for that. But yeah, there will be more talked about next weekend, or 2 weeks from now, I guess it is, when we do the Bass captains meetings. But Denise has got some pretty cool stuff happening for her events and Flynn's events out there. Oh, there you go. Hoping to add some tournaments for next year. Well, Derek, you need to come out west next year and hit the Trout Derby with us. But yeah, so stay tuned for what's happening for everybody that's going out and hitting that 4 Derby circuit out in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. There's some pretty cool news coming up for you guys as well. With that, if you have any questions, please make sure that you reach out to the trail page if you've got a question or a concern. If you've got questions regarding how to use the app, you can reach out to the trail Facebook page and just ask for Taryn. He's our app guru. If you've got questions or concerns, anything with the SummerSlam, reach out to Broden on the trail Facebook page. If there's a fish you're questioning at any of the events, whether it's online or the in-person ones, you're able to go in and there's a challenge button. So if somebody's put in something that you think has been miscalculated, whatever, they haven't got it right, hit that challenge button. We want everybody to go through the app to actually make challenges on fish, just so that anything that happens, we actually have that kind of, we've done our due diligence, and we've got that paper trail, as you would say, of where it went. But other than that, you guys are going to have fun this weekend. Carl puts on a great tournament. Buffalo's great. You're going to have lots of great anglers out there. Enjoy yourselves, and we're still rolling.
Yeah.
I mean, we do this weekend. You've got a derby, then you get 1 weekend off. Then you've got BC, Manitoba, Saskatchewan for 2 derbies, Saskatchewan for a derby, Lesser Slave Lake, weekend off. 1 weekend off, I believe, or
one
maybe
or
2.
And then close, right?
I don't even know if it's a weekend or if it's 2 weekends off.
I think so. It says,
yeah, you have 2 weekends off, and then we wrap things up at Cold Lake, which is another great event. So if you're looking for events to hit, we've got amazing events coming up. The Sask Coulee Classic, they make a donation to Wishing I Was Fishing, which is an absolutely great organization that we're very proud to be involved sponsoring. And then Cold Lake is just a great wrap-up derby at the end of the year where we fish for lake trout out of our kayaks. I think the biggest lake trout we've ever caught in the derby was the first year of the derby. I believe one of our anglers caught a 36-inch lake trout out of his kayaks. So come out. If you can make it to derbies, please make it to as many of the derbies as you can. Support our organizers. Make sure that you register online. If you're going to do that, you need to have a subscription to the Fishing Chaos app for the month of the derby. So if you're going to do a derby in June and a derby in August, you can unsubscribe and resubscribe, but it's only like $5-6 a month type thing. So it's not overly bad to kind of keep it the whole way. With that, we're getting close. We've got another 10 days for the SummerSlam, and we'll be switching it up to a different species for the monthly challenge. So for everybody that's out there fishing the SummerSlam, keep doing what you're doing. We've seen some amazing fish this year. Carp. Carl's seen the pictures as well. Anybody else that's fishing it, go on and check out some of these carp that are submitted. These guys out east are hammering monster carp. I think this is the first year we've actually had carp submitted. So
yeah,
it's great to see. Get out there, fish, introduce your friends, your family, everybody to kayak fishing. We don't care if you're in a $400 Pelican kayak or you're in a $12,000 tandem Hobie. We don't care. Come out, fish with us. We love having you part of our family. And with that, we will say good luck to everybody this weekend, and I can't wait to see your scores.